Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the session. Can you hear me well? Good. Okay. Sorry about the technical problems. We couldn't get into the system for some reasons. I don't know why. How are you doing today? I'm doing fine too. How is the weather in your areas? It's raining in Yerevan. How about your areas? It's snowing. Wow. Where are you from, Vartuhi? Raining again in Vanazor and in Oshagan and Sevan. Okay. So it's snowing in Gyumri. Do you like snow? Okay, so the sun is shining. Yeah. Not in April, I would even say. Not even in March. Not in April. Okay, and how is the weather there? Yeah. You can say, I wish I were or I was in Gyumri. Okay. So why do you have to use past? Because actually you are not in Gyumri. Right now, where are you? Razmik. You say in Vartanis Naira. Right, so I wish I were in Gyumri because right now you are in Oshakan, but this is something you are willing. That's why you say I wish I were or I wish I was in Gyumri. Shall we move on? Hello, good to see everyone. I'm doing well. So before we start today's session, let's see how much you remember. Okay, so I've got 5 questions for you. And I want you to answer these questions not in the chat box, but in your copybooks. And then in 2 minutes, you will answer them in the chat box after I tell you. Okay? So, what are you going to do? Good. So this is a kind of revision of the last lesson. Please answer the questions not in the chat box, but on your papers. On your papers. Okay? 2 minutes for this. Okay, so how do you call a person who lives in New Zealand? Serine Gevorkyan, can you answer this question? in the chat box. Right, New Zealanders, many of them, just one person. Okay, New Zealander. Right, yeah. So Annajan, first of all, it should be capitalized, and the same is for Tamara, New Zealander, because basically this person comes from New Zealand, which is a country. We have to capitalize the nationality. So in English, we capitalize all the nationalities and all the languages because we consider them to be important, okay? Right, let's come to the second question. Tamara, what preposition do we use after introduce? Nice, good job. To introduce someone to something. And can you also remind me the noun for introduce? Introduce itself is the verb. And what is the noun for introduce? Good job, Bartuhi and Razmik. Introduction. Introduction. Right. Nice. Let's come to the third question. So, Vahram Ghazarian, what do you think? Which is correct? Amn't or am not? Yeah, the second version. We never say amn't. This is a mistake, okay? We say I am not. Nice. And Vartitesh, how do you call a very long meeting? A very long meeting. And right now we're discussing the fourth question. Long meeting is not quite, it's not a discussion. Yes, Noura has got it right. Even the spelling, good job, Noura. So it's back-to-back meeting, back-to-back. So back is this part. Back-to-back meeting is a very long meeting, very extended meeting. Have you ever had back-to-back meetings? Right. Very often. Okay, what's your job, Sophia? I'm curious. What do you do? Doctor, yeah. So doctors, yeah, have to attend very long meetings. And the last question is, can you name two words that we use with the word brand? So, can be either an adjective or a verb. Brand disease, okay. My favorite brand, okay. New brand. Luxury brand, good job, Gane. Unique brand, yeah, a new brand. New is interesting actually, Tamara, because you can say this is a new brand, meaning that it has just come to the market. And you can also say it's brand new, which basically means that it is very, very new, brand new, okay? So everything depends on the position of new, where you put it. Stylish, I guess. Is that what you mean, Lilith? Stylish brand. Famous brand. Certainly. Let's change the places. So first we have the adjective and then we have the noun. Yeah, successful brand. Hi, Narina. Good to see you. Right, stylish. Good. Okay, so can you tell me a verb that we can use with the brand? So you have come up with a lot of adjectives like luxury brand, new brand, durable brand. How about verbs? What kind of verbs can you use with brand? Build the brand. Thank you very much, Nara. To build the brand, which basically means to design a special brand for your company. Have you ever done that? Have you ever designed any brand? You did? I'm sorry, Noura. Yeah. which is basically the same as create, Haracha. Yeah, lead the brand, meaning that you lead the company, which is in charge of the brand, to start the brand. And you can also use another verb which starts with an L. Can you remind me? Launch, Kayane, good job. You launch a brand. You launch a brand. Good job, everyone. Do you have any questions about this slide and about the words we have had? Then let's move on. These are the answers. And okay, Narina, good question. Launch means to start the brand. In Armenian, probably you would say megnargel. Yeah, of course we can. Yeah. Any other questions? Move on. Now, I have a kind of riddle for you. So here we have 3 sentences, and in every sentence we have one word which is missing, okay? Now, I want you to think of the word which is the same in all the sentences that is missing, okay? So in sentence number 1 and 2 and 3, the same word is missing. What word do you think it is? Think for about 30 seconds and then you can tell me your answers. Okay, so you're so clever. You didn't even require the time to think. So what do you think? Is that job or is that a hobby, as Haracha suggests, or do you think that's work? Which is the version which you think is closest to the correct answer? Job. What makes you think that, Naira and Satani? And Karina, why do you think it's work? Pay attention to the article. Here we have an article. So can we use work with article? Can we say a work or we'd better say a job? A job, right, okay. So yeah, you're right. Choose a job you love and you will never have to work a day in your life. Would you agree with this? Good. Do the hard job first. That's what Dale Carnegie suggests. Now that's again job. All of these sentences are missing one word, which is job. And pleasure in the job puts perfection in the work, which basically means if you enjoy what you're doing, your work will be perfect. Which is your favorite out of these 3? Okay. And why? You can't say. Okay. Is there anyone who has chosen a job they love and they will never have to, and they have never had to work a day in their life? Serpui, so you're the doctor, if I'm not mistaken. So you have chosen a job you love, so you don't consider it to be very tiring work, I guess. Okay. Nelly, and what's your job? Pediatrician. Pediatrician, so you mostly treat babies and children. But your job, Nelly, what do you do? Okay. Oh, that's interesting. Yeah. Very, very modern. I can just imagine. You're a musician? Do you sing or do you play music? Nice. Right. Anna, you've got such a creative job. So you're a painter. Nice. Lily, so yours is number 1. Good. Let's move on. These are the answers and you were spot on. Party teacher, oh, so nice. So that makes 2 of us. So what do you teach? Arpina, what do you teach? Economy, nice. How about you, Vartiter? Do you teach, Arpina, I'm sorry, do you teach economy or economics? Which is more correct? What do you think? Yeah, economics. Because when you say economy, you mean the situation in the country. For example, you can say the economy in Armenia is not good. But when you talk about the science, yeah, then you talk about economics. Okay, good. Now, when we talk about jobs, when we describe what our profession is or what we do we use an article? Do we say I am a teacher or do we say I am teacher, which is correct? So remember, whenever we say what our profession is and what we do, we always use an article, and that's an indefinite article. I am a teacher. Serpuhi is a doctor. Arpina is a lecturer. Lena is a teacher. Anna is a painter. So don't forget to say a, okay? Because you're just one teacher or you're just one social worker out of so many. That makes you so unique, okay? Any questions on this? Good. Let's move on. Now, I've got a question here. We have 4 jobs. Do you think we should put a or an before these jobs, and why? Okay, so accountant. An accountant. Why? But what's the reason? Because we have a, which is a vowel. What is that? In Armenian, how would you say that? Like a, o, u, e. These are all nice. Good job. So these are all vowels, right? Accountant. So we don't say a accountant because it's really hard for us to say, or a architect. Instead, we say an accountant and an architect. Right. So everything depends on the first sound of the word, on the first sound. But we say a lawyer because here we have, how would you say Baradzain in English? We have what? Is L. Consonant, Sovinar, good job. So we say a lawyer and we say a pilot, another consonant. Now, it's interesting. I think that was Bahram who said that everything depended on the first letter of the word, but everything depends on the sound, not the letter. You understand what I mean? For example, would you say a SOS or would you say an SOS? Which is correct? A SOS or an SOS? Can you tell us why, Irina and Mary? Yeah, that's a good question. So listen to me. SOS. We pay attention to the first sound. Right? So we don't pay attention to the letter, which is a consonant, because S is a consonant, but we pay attention to the sound, right? So if it starts with a vowel sound, we say N-S-O-S, okay? How about this? Would you say a university or an university? Listen to me, university. Yeah, a university. Good job, Tamara and Suzanne and Naira and Lilith and everyone. A university, because although we know that U and U are considered to be semi-vowels, at the same time, our word starts with a consonant sound. That's why we say a university. Yes, Narine, and we say an umbrella. Good, because here it's an umbrella. Okay, so pay attention to things like that. Sometimes it helps to pay attention to the letter, but to be more accurate and to be more precise, try to be attentive to the sound, okay? Any other questions? A unicorn. Oh yeah, one of my favorite words, Hirachi, actually. Thank you for mentioning that. What a unicorn is. Hirachi, can you explain to us what a unicorn is? Unicorn has only one horn. Not ayakjur. Okay? And it's not a real animal. It's a magic animal. For example, we read about unicorns. For example, when you go to the zoo, you won't see a unicorn. But when you read fairy tales, when you read different books about magic and wizards, you will come across a lot of unicorns. Okay, next. Do you have any questions? The universe, good. Okay. Let's move on then. Okay, so I'll give you 1 minute and I want you to decide whether you put a or an before these jobs. And then if you are not sure about the meaning of this or that job, we will discuss that together. Okay, so 1 minute for this. Please do not write your answers in the chat box. Sure, Mary. So please decide whether you are putting an A or an just before these jobs. Can we start? Okay. Yeah, try not to write in the chat box, okay? Please do not write in the chat box. So let's have Susanna Martirosyan. Can you tell us which article you use for artist? Artist. Thank you, Susanna. Tamara Harutyunyan, executive. What do you use? Executive. An executive, thank you. And what kind of expression do we know with executive? Remember the head of the company? Yes, the head of the company. What do we say? We say CEO, which basically stands for Chief Executive Officer. Chief Executive Officer. Is there anyone online with us who is a Chief Executive Officer? Mara, you are the Chief Executive Officer? Okay. No, we don't say no, we say not yet. Right, okay. Let's move on. Mariam, personal assistant. What do you use? Personal assistant. So it's a personal assistant. For short, we say PA. Yeah. So remember in the Soviet times, we had the word secretary, which was very, very popular. But nowadays, we don't use that unless it's a political context. Its meaning has changed. So we say she is her personal assistant, or the executive officer has his personal assistant. Okay, Vartuhi, so you are a personal assistant. Good job. Who do you assist? Who do you work for? Or which company do you work for? Good job. Right. Okay. Your chief executive officer an Armenian, or is he or she foreigner? Nice. Okay. Let's move on. Vahem, cashier. What do you use? A cashier. Good. Everyone is answering. Poor Vahem hasn't got a chance. Receptionist. Sirpuhi. Receptionist. A receptionist. Good. HR specialist. HR specialist. Hermine, good job. Raznik, Nona, of course, because we know H is a consonant, but we pay attention to the sound. So that's why we say an HR specialist. And can you tell me what HR, what these two letters stand for? HR stand for, you've said that, human resources. Human resources. Is there anyone who is into HR? I'm sorry, I misspelled that. Yeah, Angin, good question, because it's HR. Listen, HR. So the first sound is not a consonant, it's a vowel. Naira was in HR. Okay. Let's move on. And Satanik, consultant. What do we use? A or an? Yeah, a consultant. Nice. Noura, salesperson. Salesperson. A salesperson. Pay attention also to the person. So before, probably it was popular to say, salesman or saleswoman. But because today we're trying to be more politically correct, and we're trying not to attract the attention of people to the gender, we use neutral words, and person is one of them. So for example, instead of saying fireman, yeah, we say firefighter. So someone who fights the fire. Or instead of saying chairman, we say chairperson. So that means that it can be both a man and a woman. Razmik, officer. An officer, good job. Nona, worker. A worker, nice. Lena, trainee. A trainee. So there was a question whether it should be trainee or trainer. We have two different words. Razmi, thank you for the question. So trainer is someone who trains you. For example, you need to earn some leadership skills, so you go to the training session, and that person provides this training session for you. Yeah, I would agree more with Lena than Vartuhi. So that's Dasim Patsavar. Trainee is someone who is being trained, It's also an intern, Okay? So we have this also in interviewer. This is the person who is asking you questions. Now, how do you call the person who you ask questions? I don't think you're an interviewer. Right, so interviewer is someone who asks you questions. Now, the person who you are asking questions is an interviewee. We have two suffixes, suffix er, that means someone who does the job. For example, employer, that's someone who takes people for work, who hires people. And we have the suffix e, which means someone who the action is directed at. For example, employee, that's someone who works. Okay? This clear? Employer is gurtatu, that's someone who does job. Employee is someone who works. Or passive, yeah? So if we talk about active, like people, like us, people who ask questions, people who train, it's not that they are active by their personality, it's just they are active by their status. We use ER. When we talk about people who are more passive, because they are listening to these active people, we use E. Interviewee, employee, trainee. Okay? Right, let's move on. Naira Evoyan, financial analyst. What do we use? Yeah, a financial analyst. And if we have only analyst, Anna Zadian, what do we use? If it's only analyst, an analyst. Thank you. Gayane Arakelian, market researcher. What do we use? A market researcher. Good. Why an, Lilith? It's a market researcher because it basically starts. That's okay, no problem. that basically starts with a consonant, right? What is a market researcher, Irina? Any ideas? What is that? Yeah. That's the person who finds out about the needs in the market, what kinds of needs there are in the market, and he tries to, before running business, before launching a brand, right? So he tries to see what kind of products will be popular in the market. Who researches market, Lena? Indeed, yeah, good job. Any questions? Okay, I have a question for you. So we have the word mentor, which basically means someone who provides you with guidance, who gives you pieces of advice. Now, how do you call the person who receives that advice? So mentor is the person who advises. Very good, very nice. So mentee is someone who gets that advice. You're so clever, so smart and bright. Good job. Okay, let's move on. Now, I would like you to write one sentence sharing the jobs of your family members. For example, my dad is a business person, or my mother is a linguist, or my sister is a lawyer. Okay, I'm just curious to know what your family members do. Can you please choose one family member and write a sentence about him or her in the chat box. Mother is a teacher, okay. Now, do we say policeman, Vartuhi, or police officer, which is more correct, to be politically correct? Police officer. Wow, she's an English teacher, Diana. That's why your English is so good. Engineer, nice. Okay. Any other? Oh. Chief of kindergarten, or what do we say? Head of kindergarten. Okay. Housewife. Accountant, Arpina, or an accountant? Remember our lesson. An accountant. Good, Albert. A lawyer. Tailor. What's your question, Angin? I'm sorry, I might have missed that because you're so quick. A bus driver. Don't forget, Lilith. With professions, with jobs, we use an indefinite article. Sorry. So your father works at the hydroelectrostation. What does he do? Is he a technician or is he a mechanic? What does he do? Is he an engineer? Electrician, or probably oh, you're a receptionist. So that's a nice job. Okay, so mechanic. He's a mechanic. Okay, Nura, we have a shop, yeah, because there are many of us. We have a shop. Businesswoman, right. An educator, good. Okay. So many interesting professions. You are surrounded with so many interesting people. Good job, everyone. Let's move on. Now we have a person on the screen. So who do you think he is? Do you think he's Armenian? Do you think he's British? Do you think he's American? Bill Gates? Looks like Bill Gates, but not quite. And what do you think his job is? He's American, you think? You think he's a lawyer? Okay. Yeah, Armina, what do we say? Programmer. Yeah, you think he's a programmer. A writer. Interesting. Okay, now we're going to listen to some information about him. I'll give you the link and you will just go to this link and you will listen to this information. And for listening, you should have your speakers on. Okay, right? He's a happy man, probably. So as you listen, think of these questions, think of these sentences. Are they true or are they false? Okay? Just go through the sentences. Tell me if you have any questions about any words or about any structures. If everything is okay, we can listen and I'll share the link with you. No questions? Okay. And I'm sharing the link with you. Happy listening. Listen to some information about him. Think about these sentences and then come back. Here is the link. If you click on this link, Narinejan, you will be directed to the listening, okay? Okay, can we start discussing, please? Start? Okay, please don't write anything in the chat box. I will tell you who's going to start, okay? So, Angin Zadurian, can you tell us if the first sentence is correct? He lives in London. Is it true or is it false? Angin, he lives in London. Thank you. Albert Simonian, he has 3 very young children. Is it true or false? 3 very young children. Everyone is Albert. That's false. Okay. Asya Sargsyan, he runs his own business. Is it true or false? He runs his own business. Thank you, Asya. Georgi Agajanyan, his business works for organizations across the US and Asia. People think it's true, some people think it's false. Okay, we'll see. Georgi thinks it's false. Good. He helps leaders become better leaders. That's a question for Armine Jamparian. He helps leaders become better leaders. And he always shakes hands when he meets people. That's for Hasmik Nikorian. He always shakes hands when he meets people. I'm so happy with you. Let's see what the correct answers are. So he doesn't live in London, which you correctly mentioned. He lives near London, but not in London. So the first statement was false. And he doesn't have 3 babies, he has 3 teenage children. Can you remind me which age is considered to be teenage? For example, if my daughter is 12 years old, is she a teenager? If she's 12? No. So you have to be in the range between 13, pay attention, teen, and 19. Because we basically say 13, 14, 15, 16, and so on. So when you are within this range, you are a teenager, derahas, narine, okay? He runs his own business, that's true. And he works for the organizations not across Asia, but in Europe. He helps leaders improve the quality of their leadership, that's true. And the last one, what was the last question? Yeah, he always shakes hands with people when he meets them. That's also true. So, do you have any questions about this? Did you hear all the information correctly? Did you get all the answers right? Good job. Okay. Now we're going to listen to Jeremy speaking. Okay. And as you listen to him, try to complete his sentences. Try to complete these sentences. Let me share the link with you. Here is the link. If you click on it, you will be directed to the listening. So 1 minute for this. Nice. Do you want us to check? Let's check. So Narine Galoyan, can you tell us the answer to the first question? So what does it say? Where do you come from? And what's the second question? Narine Mnatsakanyan. What do you do? Good. Where do you come from? What do you do? What happens to your voice when you ask these questions? Does your voice go up or does it go down? Goes down because that's a special question. Good job, Raja. Where do you come from? What do you do? Doesn't go up. In Armenian, Narine, probably it would go up. But here, because you're requesting specific information, and that's a question that starts with what, with where, with when, your voice goes down. Good. Razmik, what do you think about number 2? I usually find out Razmik, what's important for them. Everyone is Razmik today. What's important for them? Okay. Narek Arzumania, what do you think about the third one? When do you okay, exchange, nice. When do you exchange business cards? Good. And Nazani Asatirian, number 4, I usually wait until the person I'm meeting. Now, offer or offers? Offers, because we have one person. Until the person I'm meeting offers me a business card. Let's see what the correct answers are. We don't have the correct answers, okay, but they are all correct. Where do you come from? What do you do? I usually find out what's important for them. When do you exchange business cards? And I usually wait until the person I'm meeting offers me a business card. Third person singular, indeed, quite good. Good job. So were your answers correct? Do you have any questions? I love it when you say no thanks. It's like as if I'm offering you to have a question. Would you like to have a question? No thanks. Okay. Now, we still have some time, and can I ask someone to come online and to talk about this? So in a business situation, when do we shake hands? When do we kiss each other? When do we bow? What is to bow? Bow. Yes, when do we bow? And when do we exchange business cards? So what do you think? There is no need to be an expert in this. No need to be an expert. So we can talk about it. Anyone can talk about it. So who wants to come online? I can see that Melina has got a microphone. Melina Melkumia, would you like to come online? Okay, who wants to come online? Albert, Angin, Armine, You should share your microphones with us and you can come online. Melina, do you want to come online? Good job. Okay. So I've just switched on your microphone. Can you please speak? Melina?
No.
Melina? Melina? Good.
Lily?
Yeah? Can you hear Melina, everyone? Okay, good. Adina Jan, can you please speak about these points? So in business, when do we shake hands? When do we kiss each other? When do we bow? And when do we exchange business cards? Adina Jan, we're all ears. Melina?
Yes.
Yeah. So when do we shake hands in business? When do we shake hands in business? Melina, we don't understand the language of gestures. Can you please speak to us? Are you there? Hello? Okay, when we greet each other, Melina, do you want to speak to us? I'm just switching off your microphone. Who wants to come online? Okay, Razmik, then you have to share your microphone with us. And for that,
Yes.
you have to... Razmik, are you online? Oh,
Yes.
great. Good evening.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm fine, thanks, and you?
I'm doing fine too. Razmik Jan, do you want to speak about the questions on the slide? So when do we shake hands in business?
Yes. Whenever when someone get a good result, or when two people make an agreement. Yes.
Okay.
Sorry for my English.
Your English is very good.
Yes. I think so.
So when we want to congratulate people, is that what you
Yes.
mean? Congratulate people on success. Yeah, if something good
Yes.
has happened, if they have been successful. Okay. Do we meet people when we meet, do we shake hands with people when we meet them for the first time in Armenian business settings?
What?
When, for example, you have met someone new,
Yes.
and it's an Armenian business setting, do you shake a hand with him?
Of course.
We do. Okay. Now, in business, do we kiss each other?
I think no.
Why not? Lilith says no way. Is it impolite?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Do we bow?
I think when someone in our collective, yes, collective, maybe make good result, and the leader of company can bow.
Can bow.
Yes, can bow.
So when someone in our team, Razmik, in our team,
yes, yes,
yeah, is successful, we can congratulate that person and we can shake hands
with him and bow.
Probably, yeah. Probably, if we come from Japan, we can bow to them. Yeah, but bowing is more typical of like the Japanese culture, the Chinese culture. Okay?
Yes.
Now, when do we exchange business cards? When do we exchange business cards? Azmi, have we lost you? We've lost him. Okay. So Lilith says we exchange business cards when we promise to call that person.
Sorry for my
Oh, you're back. Good to see you. Good to hear you, to be more exact.
connection.
Okay, so you've got connection problems. Can you hear us now, and can you speak so that we can hear you? Okay. So thank God Razmik spoke about the first three items. So when do we exchange business cards? At the end of the meeting, Mariam says, when we promise or when we want to call that person, this is what Lilith says. And Hermine, yeah, when we want to be in touch with that person. That's okay, Razmik, no problem. Sarah, what do you mean by saying in reliable atmosphere? What do you mean? Sarah, Nahapetan? Okay, when we want to cooperate, right? Okay, when we want to cooperate. Nice, very good. Yeah, when we want to network with people. Network, what is that? Network with. Network. Like, for example, when you go to the party, but you are not there just to have fun, you go there to create contacts, okay? When you want to find new contacts there, when you want to connect to people. Good job. Right, Hermina. Nice translation. Do you have any comments on Okay, so today we'll be doing a very quick revision of the present simple, present. I know that you know this. About, yeah, and we just put it in its form, like I work, you work, but for he, she, we have s. He, she works, because it's, or it works, Albert, because it works. Okay, no problem with this. So the form is okay. Let's pay attention to the spelling rules. So sometimes verbs add es, and these are the cases when your verb ends in an x, for example. For example, you say I box, but Vic Darchinyan, do you know Vic Darchinyan? He's a boxer. So I box, but Vic Darchinyan boxes, okay? I miss, but he misses. You see, we have double S here, so it will be almost impossible to say he misses. it. So this is something that is unquestionable. That's general truth. Okay? Or we have example. We have classes on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Okay? Stable, that's stable. That's not going to change. Or for example, when you go to university, you check your schedule and you say, oh, we have linguistics on Mondays, or we have history on Fridays. When we tell jokes, when we tell stories, and when we comment on sports events, okay? For example, you're watching a match and you want to say that Henrik Mkhitaryan Henrik Mkhitaryan scores a goal. So if you are the sports commentator, you can't say, you know, Henrik Mkhitaryan is scoring a goal because you say Henrik Mkhitaryan passes the goal and then he scores the goal. So you try to use the present simple when providing commentaries for sports. Okay. Any questions? Noura has a comment that we use and timetables. Thank you, Noura, for that. Schedules and timetables. Like for example, you say my bus leaves at 9 o'clock. So again, it's according to the schedule, and every day or probably every week it leaves or arrives at 8 o'clock. Or you say my plane takes off at 9. Because this is according to the schedule. How do we ask questions? So for I and you, we say, do I work? Do you work? But for the third person singular, we use does. Does he work? Does she work? Okay? Because we used to have, remember, she works. So when we add do to s, we have does. Does she work? Does he work? And again, do we work? Do you work? Do they work? What happens to your voice when you ask these questions? Does your voice go up or does it go down? This is not a special question. This is a general question. Do I work? It's a general question. So your voice rises, your intonation, yes, Vartika, rises, Satanik, it goes up, okay? Do you work? So it goes up because I'm curious to find out the answer. Does he work? Again, I want to know the answer. Okay? And negatives, when you negate something, I don't work, you don't work, he doesn't work, she doesn't work, we don't work, you don't work, and they don't work. So don't is basically the same as do not. It, what do you think, Angin? It is the third person singular. So do we say it does or it do? What do you think? It doesn't work, good, or it works, nice. Yeah. I just don't have the example with it here because I was thinking from the perspective of business, so that's why I didn't include it here. It works. For example, you are talking about your refrigerator, or you are talking about a situation that was successful, and you say, wow, it works, okay? Or I'm happy, it doesn't work. It is also the third person singular. Do you have any questions on this? Okay. Asmik is like, no questions. Right. In that case, I'd like you to open brackets and to put the words in the correct form. I'll give you 1 minute for this. Please don't write your answers in the chat box. Write them on the sheets of paper, and then we'll check them. Okay? Bahram is already speaking French. It's not like I have finished or I've completed the task, it's green and that's it. Okay, good to see that everyone is ready. Nelly, Marcos, can you please write the first sentence in the chat box? So Helen, then the continuation. Good, thank you. Helen goes to work every day. Good job, Nelly. Racha Hovanesyan, the second one. Wake up, nice. I wake up at 7 every morning. Racha, do you wake up at 7 every morning? Razmik does. Good job, Razmik. How about Hiracha? Hiracha also does. Nice. Melinda Melkumian, Lucy, the sentence with Lucy. Lucy does yoga on Sundays. Lucy does yoga because she's the third person singular. Is there anyone among you who does yoga? Do you do yoga? Marina, do you do yoga? Hermine sometimes does yoga. And Mary sometimes does yoga. Vartu, does morning exercises. Good job. Naira would like to learn how to do yoga. And Irina does sometimes. Not yet, Angin. Yeah, be positive. Good. Angin, number 4, I always, and go on. Okay, Gohar decided that she would like to be the first. I always get dressed after breakfast. I always get dressed. And the last one, Noura, we. Alright, thank you very much. I keep saying that, but nobody listens to me. Yeah, we have only coffee for breakfast. Okay. Is there anyone among you who has only coffee for breakfast? Like, for example, you wake up and you don't have anything else. You just have coffee for breakfast and then you're off to work. Okay, Narine has only coffee for breakfast. So does Suzanne. Mary probably has a substantial breakfast. Narine sometimes has coffee for breakfast. Yeah, it's bad for stomach. I agree. Yeah. It's not healthy. Good job. It isn't healthy. Yeah. Okay. Let's move on. Here are the answers. And now I'd like you to make questions from these sentences. For example, Helen goes to work every day. What would the question be? Does Helen go to work? Good job, Asya. Now do the rest with now number Okay, let's start. Nelly Galician, can you write the question for number 2? Yeah, do I wake up at 7? Not D, but do, Nelly, okay? Do I wake up at 7 every morning? Okay, good, right? Try to be more active, yeah? How about question for number 3, Melina Melkumian? Does Lucy do? Good job, Melina. Does Lucy do yoga on Sundays? Nice. Suzanne Panchoyan, number 4. Good job, Suzanne. I always get rest after breakfast. Do I always get rest? Yeah. Probably you wouldn't ask yourself that question. You wouldn't say, do I always get rest after breakfast? Because it would leave an impression of you would leave an impression of a crazy person. So probably it will be better if you ask that question with you. Do you always get rest after breakfast? Okay. And Nazani Marcosian, how about the next one? Zara and Arus have only coffee for breakfast. Yes, because we have 2 people. Do Zara and Arus, or do they have only coffee for breakfast? So you've even included me. You. They are hectic, okay? Hectic. Yeah, hectic. Over busy, super busy. Okay. Do you have any questions on this? Georgi, what does 444 mean? I hope it's not my age. Why have you written it there? Here the answer is just an error. Oh, okay. Okay. If you don't have any questions, to wrap it up, let's move on. And I'll ask you some of these some. Now, for example, when you don't like, when you think that there is unemployment in the country or there is poverty in the country, what is this, economy or economics? When you talk about things like that, economy, because it's about the economic situation in Armenia, right? Okay. What do you call a person who gets this advice? So we have a mentor and we have a mentee. That someone job is a doctor. Very good. So good memory. Okay. What does Haraj do? What does Haraj? He's a receptionist. Great. Good job. Nice. Okay. Let's move on. And what do you use with this? Do we say X-ray or an X-ray? What would you use? Because again, we pay attention to the sound, okay? We pay attention to the sound. Yeah, an X-ray, a chest, but we say a chest X-ray, indeed, right? How do you call the person who explores the needs in the market, who says, I suppose people in Armenia like showing off. So what kind of profession does he or she have? Mariam, good job, market researcher. So someone who explores the market researcher. Nice. Okay. Now, do you have any questions? Okay. Now, as part of our homework, so we are meeting on Saturday and we are meeting in our groups. We have 3 groups and you are meeting your teachers respectively. I want you to think of a joke, and to tell it online. Okay, so your favorite joke, which you want to share with us. Okay, now if you're telling a joke, not now, that's your homework. That's your homework, Raja. If you're telling the joke, which tense do you use? Huh? Yes. Yes, present simple. So for favorite, what is in English? What's your I suggest you write to Gohar or to Suzanne, and I'm sure they will be enthusiastic to answer your questions. This Saturday is a working day. Oh, okay, yeah, because it's the 7th. Then again, you have to be in touch probably with your teacher. Who is your teacher, Nazanin? Okay, Angin, I am always busy. Don't miss, I'm always busy on Saturdays. So, or if it's only this Saturday, you get in touch with your teacher and you negotiate that, or you negotiate that with Gohar. Okay? So thank you so much, everyone, and have a nice. We shall call it a day.